everybody from the Carlovian. Here we are once again in Mexico City, this gigantic capital of the world. Thank heavens to the time of the ambassador. Ricardo, he gave us a little bit of his time. So I'm very thankful for that. Very, very thankful. And you know it. We keep on going. Questions that you may have that we can get from professionals and experts. And if you would agree, we can start with the first question. I saw from your whole professional career that you have quite a remarkable career in diplomacy. So, could you explain us the core mission of a consulate and specifically how it differs or maybe complements the one of an embassy?
More than happy, Imanol. First of all, thank you for having me over here, for this opportunity to direct me to your colleagues and classmates. It's a real pleasure. Thank you. Well, talking about being an ambassador, being a consul of Mexico, is a big deal for us because we are, as you know, career diplomats, which means that we enter into a national force totally dedicated to serve our country, our government, our state. And the main challenge for us, if I can put it that way, is to serve the Mexican community abroad. In my specific case, basically my whole diplomatic development, if I can put it that way, has been happening in the U.S. Having been representative in different parts in the U.S., from the east to the west, north, and south, especially at the border. I've been a witness of the hardships of our community living out of our country on different bases, legally or on an undocumented basis. So for us, it posed a big challenge to serve our community, and that's why Mexico has so far 54 representations of Mexico in the U.S., 53 in the whole state, plus the consular section of the Mexican embassy in the U.S. to serve around a community which is encompassed by 34 million people, Mexican background, from which 11 million live in the U.S. on the different immigration basis. From those, around 4.5 living in the U.S. as undocumented persons that have immigrated to the U.S. for different reasons, social, economics, or for family reasons. As you can see, coming from this specific number of persons, we have a variety of people that has migrated to the U.S. from different reasons or that were born in the U.S. too. So basically, the whole scenario of the immigrants, of the immigration of the Mexican people with Mexican background people living in the U.S. is as a great majority living in the U.S. as documented or legal persons. So it's not only undocumented people. The great majority is documented and legal people. And we have a big challenge in the U.S. But the basic need for us is provide services to our community over there, which I stated pose a big challenge. On a very recordly manner, we offer around 50 different services, federal service to our community that is entangled with Mexico to the point that they need services both in Mexico and in the U.S.
And abroad. Yeah. Next idea, I read a little bit, and that's where the question goes. Reflecting on your time in Bois, Tucson, and Douglas in the United States, there were like certain factors of your career which made me think if there's any defining initiative or moment that demonstrated the value of diplomacy, but at the local level, because for what I can see, there's a different path from being an ambassador, which might be a little bit, and I might be mistaken for sure, but a little bit more like on the more general sense compared to certain activities that, as you mentioned, it's with people, like directly. For example, this financial aid that you delivered. How do you see this?
You define it on a perfect basis. Being an ambassador, well, it's a representation of the whole country in another country. And you have that mandate coming from your government, your state in another country. Being a consul depends on where you are. In the case of the US, I just said that we have 44 consulates in the US. Uh, the approach we are following is like mini embassies because we have to be on a constant consultation, conversations, or negotiations with the local government, which basically is state or very local ones. No, that's why. Let me just to put emphasis on what it's about. We have 11 consulates in California. Why? Because of the size of the Mexican community. 9 consulates in Texas, just Texas as a whole. And when we are talking about the borderline, which encompasses more than 3,000 kilometers or 2,000 miles, no? We have 11 consulates at the borderline.
Yeah.
So you can imagine that the basic functions or the basic way we have to work is in constant conversations, negotiations, talks, if you wish, or consultations with the local, very local authorities, plus the federal authorities inside. So that gives us a broad scope to try to offer services to our communities where they are demanded, but also respond to communities with a lot of relation with border counties or border states. If we talk or we think that just at the border area we have more than 25 counties each side of the borderline, and that the border is a general scenario, a war itself, in which every year is happening more than $30 billion in bilateral exchange just in between those communities. No? And in which territory in which more than 13 million people live, you can think about the kind of services they demand. No? So we are acting like that. You are a consul, you are a representative from your country, providing services to your nationals in another country, but at the same time promoting the image, the positive image of Mexico, fostering business, fostering economic, trade, and academic exchanges in between both our communities. No, in our case, 4 states from the US, 6 states in Mexico, North Mexico. So when you talk about what is going on in the north of the US, also you have the need to represent your community and to present the local state authorities, both of them, with the basic needs of your community. No? So we are into that. So it's a big difference because you have a more, a country to represent in another country, but in this case, being the fact of you have a big community, you have to provide service and represent them also. So it's different, it's probably more intense in terms of the social community or human exchange than in an embassy, but also an embassy is a representation from your country in another country.
Yeah. And for me, it was quite interesting. You mentioned this direct contact with the people. How do you, or how could you comment on this equilibrium between the urge of a person that is asking for certain aid or support, but as well I don't know, the official process that it takes? I don't know if it's like a lot of pressure, a lot of stress.
It is also the social component of our relationship is a lot of pressure because most of it, especially in the border area, is based on social needs. So you have to develop the different mechanisms to provide this service. But I can tell you in a very proudly manner that the Mexico's Foreign Service, in terms of consular and social service to our community, is quite unique. I can assure you there is no other consular and diplomatic service from any country in the world into another country with these specific definitions. We are everything to serve our community on a social, sometimes financial, or providing legal assistance to them on a very broad manner. So it's a challenge for Mexico. By fortune, has developed this specific service for our communities, and we are very proud of that.
Yeah. And I believe we already talked about it relatively, but in your perspective, how does diplomacy and specifically the consular duty might contribute to both national well-being and international cooperation?
A lot, because we are always into provide the service, but also into improve the well of being of our community abroad. No? And for that, no, you have to go before the authorities. If they are local, they are the local congress from different states in which we serve. We go to the congress to present how our community feels about different situations in the U.S. or in different states or in the place you are serving. So it's a big contribution in terms of diplomacy. I will say, on a very friendly manner, that the social component, the social diplomacy that we exercise is quite important. And for the people that is aspiring to come to the Mexico's Foreign Service as a newcomer, uh, that's part of the formation, specifically here in the Mexican Diplomatic Academy. We have to tell them the main issue, the main challenge for you is to serve your community. In that sense, the most challenging situation for you has to do with social services, to provide the services from your country and to make sure that they are duly protected, duly respected on a humane basis, always respecting human rights. So in that we are pretty firm, and we establish dialogue. That's why with different levels of the authority. And I'm talking also about police departments, sheriff departments, no federal authorities. We are into that dialogue on an everyday basis.
Yeah. Following once again that thread, the world starts to become very interconnected. There's a lot of media, a lot of information. Yet it seems that sometimes these content creators they tend to focus more on tendencies or just entertainment. What would you say to this to the youth that are interested, as you mentioned, to join into the diplomatic
The
world?
Mexican Foreign Service. So far, right now, in this very moment,
Yeah.
in a couple of weeks, we are going to have in the Matias Romero Institute, we're going to have 104 new diplomats. No, young people that is aspiring to be diplomats. We are having around 60, 69 women. So this is a process that involves now, from our part, the gender equilibrium. And we are into that for women foreign policy or for a feminine foreign policy. We want to incorporate more of the gender equilibrium. And we are into that. We have good numbers. We need to improve that. Now, to the point that we're going to go 50-50. 50 women as diplomats, 50 in the whole Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So we are doing that. What I will say to young people that is aspiring to come and being part of this Mexican Foreign Services, first of all, be open. Secondly, totally assimilate that you are going to be into providing service to your own community with high needs. I mean, and it is not because you are this way or another way in terms of immigration condition. Yes. It's because you are into providing service to people that is living, traveling, residing abroad. No? And the challenge that they pose to you can be like that. That's a big challenge. So you are into that and to serve your own country. You develop a high commitment with your own culture, country, well-being. So this is for you, to represent Mexico. You're a professional, no matter the profession. No, come and go into this specific process, which is kind of a contest. No, Not every year, but every 2 or 3 years we open this. So it's a big challenge, and we are into that.
That's good. I have in my mind the variety of nations that we have in students of PPE, this program of politics, philosophy, and economics in Prague, all around Europe, Asia, Middle East, you name it. I would like to know if, in your perspective, is there something from the Mexican diplomatic tradition or practices that you would say that the international system should consider to get, to learn from us?
Now we have something that we identified as soft policy, soft diplomacy. So, and the best way to represent our country is with our own traditions, with our own culture. And we have duly exercised that. To the country we arrive, believe me, we are pretty well received. And when we put an exhibit or invite people to the consulate or to the embassy, you have a lot of enthusiastic people to come to learn more about our culture. So soft diplomacy is that, is to provide everyone the real you, the real of your own culture, for you and your country be better understood. Now, after that, it comes politics or diplomacy, negotiations, and else, whatever you want to put over there in the specific change. But your own culture, your own people, your own representation, for real, is the best way to show the world who you are. And in the case of our countries, is Mexican culture is more than pretty well received.
That's very interesting. And to conclude this amazing time with you, this is more like a personal question, still in the professional sense, maybe a little bit complicated. If you would be able to sum up the whole spirit of your diplomatic career in one sentence, what would it be?
One word will be commitment. One sentence is commitment and love for your country.
Gorgeous. Well, there you have it. Some words with experts in their field, professionals that they have seen it and they have done it everything. So I hope you enjoy this second chapter and keep watching us. Thank you very much, Ambassador, for your time.
Thank you,
We really
Manuel.
appreciate it.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much.